Sound.
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 Sound. Sound. Sound.
Founding Sound.
My name is Linda Edwards, and I'm the founder of the Healing Nest in Nanaimo, BC.
Linda Edwards was an occupational therapist for 26 years, working with individuals in mental health and substance use fields. The Healing Nest has locations in Nanaimo and Victoria that offer sessions with the Harmonic Egg, which Linda first heard about while watching an interview with Harmonic Egg creator Gayla.
By the end of the interview, I was so passionate about what I learned that I knew that I had to bring the Harmonic Egg to Vancouver Island. Everything flowed, which made me think that this was the right path that I should take. The other reason why I was so passionate about the Harmonic Egg was because my mother was very ill for quite some time. She went to many doctors, had many tests, and basically they thought and even said to her that it was all in her head. I knew better, and my mother knew better. She tried everything. I tried everything. She came to the island. I brought her here numerous times, trying different things for her. And so when I heard about the Harmonic Egg, I just knew in my heart that this was the answer for her. And unfortunately, she did pass away in 2019. And I discovered the Harmonic Egg in 2021. So this is a tribute to my mother. I formed this company in service to help others who are suffering. And it is my passion. And I absolutely believe in the healing powers of sound, light. Basically, it's frequency medicine. This is what the Harmonic Egg is all about. We use sound, light, color, and sacred geometry to provide an environment for your body to innately heal. We have been told so many things that really have suppressed our innate powers. And I'm very excited because I think the times these days, more and more scientific evidence is coming through that confirms that frequency healing, sound, light, all kinds of frequency modalities are really the new science, the new excitement, the new medicine, basically. And it has been suppressed for a long time. The roots really are in ancient civilizations. And now, since science is catching up, it is exciting times for all us healers because it is starting to really get out into the mainstream. Now back to the Harmonic Egg. It's a very unique bioresonance chamber. We use sound, we use light, colors, and the frequencies of sacred geometry. And it is actually in the shape of an egg. That is very important because what is created is a vortex of frequencies swirling within the egg environment. When you come for a session, you are seated into a zero gravity chair and you're reclined to your comfort level. And depending on what your intention is, a soundtrack is selected, specific colors are selected, and you're in the Harmonic Egg for 50 minutes, 40 minutes of the soundtrack, and 10 minutes of a very important silent integration period, sort of bring it all together. So when you're in the Harmonic Egg, it's a very peaceful environment, and what is occurring is your autonomic nervous system is being reset. We are in fight, flight, freeze constantly, even when we don't know it, just because of the way our society operates. We are under stress 24/7. Even when we sleep, our mind keeps going and going and going. And our bodies do not know how to relax. We've lost that ability, that innate ability for our autonomic nervous system to just rebalance, reset, and go into that homeostasis that's so natural. Allow that healing process to happen. The Harmonic Egg provides the environment so that your body can reset and rebalance. Like, when you come to the Healing Nest, we're not doing the work for you. We are providing you the therapeutic environment for your body to recalibrate and allow you to innately heal in whatever capacity you need.
I was excited to try a session in the Harmonic Egg. Before going into the chamber, Linda and I spoke about areas in my life that I was looking to improve, and about a physical or emotional struggle I was dealing with. She then looked up a corresponding frequency to that issue, which would guide the color of lights and key of sound that would play for the session. When Linda asked me to set an intention for the session, I replied, I allow myself to be present and to create in quiet moments. When I climbed into the anti-gravity chair in the Harmonic Egg, Linda slowly tipped it back until the point where my legs were slightly elevated above my heart. She stepped away from the egg and slowly slid the door closed to begin my 50-minute session. The lights glowed around me as soft music started to ease through the speakers on either end of the egg. I noticed tones and frequencies that were unexpected in between the notes of the instrumental track. After a few minutes, I draped the blanket over my legs, and what seemed like moments later, Linda was opening the door again. At first I thought something was wrong, but then I realized that I had fallen asleep. After the egg session, we talked about my experience. Linda explained that because the egg is so relaxing, people often fall asleep, but the effects of the frequencies still have positive effects on the person, whether they are awake or asleep. I can't explain it, but I definitely felt different in a positive way for the rest of the day and had a very good sleep that night.
So we naturally are conducive to energies. Everything in our environment is made up of energy. This chair is energy, the table is energy, this scarf has energy. Every matter is made up of electrons, atoms, protons. It's all energy. You can go right into a deep dive in this. This is another whole topic, but given everything is made up of energy, our bodies are actually made up of energy. We are electrical beings. Our brains, our hearts, every organ has its own particular frequency that it resonates at. The liver resonates at a certain frequency. If there is an illness happening with your liver, let's say non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, it's going to resonate at a dysfunctional frequency. If you apply a healing modality of sound, light, color, frequencies, what's going to happen is those healing frequencies are going to resonate within your body because we are conducive to electrical impulses. It's going to deharmonize those dysfunctional frequencies that's occurring in your liver and reharmonize it to a vibrant, healthy, natural frequency that liver should be at. My personal experience with sound healing has been, in one word, grounding. Before getting the Harmonic Egg, I was drawn to things like drumming, rattling, that shamanic experience, chimes, always very grounding for me. When I got the Harmonic Egg, it went up a few decibels of grounding. It actually assisted me in releasing trauma. Many of us have been traumatized, and not only in our childhoods, but adulthood. And I personally don't have any physical illnesses, so my experience has been on an emotional and spiritual level. Sound healing in the Harmonic Egg has assisted me to release those deeply rooted hurts, like the grief, the pain, the shame, the regrets, all those negative emotions, so that I can personally resonate at a higher frequency and experience more joy, more peace, more calm. It's getting out there more as common knowledge, but when we go through trauma, it lodges in, it's energetic, but it lodges into an organ, a spot in your body. It could be your constant neck pain, could be a chronic sciatica, back pain. The root of most illness is based in emotion. That is controversial, but more and more evidence is coming out that we need to release the pain and the undue suffering that we have experienced as an individual, as a society, our communities, the world actually on a global basis. We really need to release that energetic dysfunction and come back to feeling how we should really feel in our bodies. So that's a long answer to how has sound healing assisted you, but that's just really the tip of the iceberg. I believe there's a high concentration of healers on Vancouver Island because it's a very special place. So I think people are drawn here because of the high vibration that is present on Vancouver Island. It's a beautiful place, and we're surrounded by water, which is very conducive to energy flow. And just being on Vancouver Island, I believe that we are getting a natural energy healing.
Just across the Nanaimo Harbor is Gabriola Island, where we find Gayla Meredith of Connect, Balance, Thrive Wellness Services, who employs sound therapy, healing touch, and many other therapeutic methods, indoors, outdoors, and online, to provide support for her clients.
I just find it fascinating when you bring the aspects of what science has learned about the nervous system into the work of the energy modalities and supporting people on their wellness journeys. So I just really find that's quite interesting. During COVID, I didn't cook or clean. I studied all of those aspects. So I really appreciate the teachers and the learning. And Dr. John Bolio is also sound therapist that I've studied with. And John Stewart Reed is also a acoustic physics scientist who's done a lot of research on vibration, sound, music, and the health impacts on the physiology. I was excited to move to Gabriola. I arrived here in 2017, actually burned out from a very busy career. And this has been my healing journey, being on Gabriola. It's just so peaceful and beautiful, and nature is all around us and with, so close. And with that and following and doing the work of my own personal self-care and restoring and renewing myself from a busy career and learning how to move into retirement and what does that look like, or this new chapter where the wellness services started arriving into my life and my learning. And Gabriola is just the perfect place to rest, relax, restore, and find your ways in a very beautiful paradise, actually. We're in my beautiful forest where I do a lot of sound sessions in the summer, and I love offering sound sessions. It's a cedar forest, and we often have the birds and the eagles, the chipmunks, the raccoons, the deer walking by. I have a heart labyrinth in the front yard that people are welcome to walk before or after their sessions. And it's a beautiful place to have a sound session or a healing touch session because I can bring my treatment table out back into the forest. So that's a beautiful offering, and when the season supports that sort of work.
Gayla says she recently started offering a wellness empowerment workshop series to bring participants a better understanding about the functioning of the nervous system, to help them recognize the effects of stress, and help them strategize ways to restore feelings of safety and support.
And sometimes we think, okay, we're arrived, we're feeling a lot better, and all of a sudden there's a slip, or there's like, oh, here I am again. And that is okay. That's just simply your nervous system responding to a context. And I think when people can start understanding that that's their nervous system responding, then we feel empowered to, what can I do now to support my nervous system, to bring in calm, grounded centeredness, and whatever that modality might be. Maybe it's a walk in the forest. Maybe it's connecting with a friend, or maybe it's a sound modality, using your Tibetan bowls or your tuning forks, especially the C&G tuning fork. That is just like, oh, I love the C&G tuning forks and all I've learned about them in relation to nervous system regulation and support and soothing and the vitality that it can bring. The work of Dr. Stephen Porges talks a lot about nervous system, and Dr. John Bolio is who I've learned a lot from on tuning forks and the support of the nervous system. Dr. John Bolio claims that all you need is a C&G tuning fork, using it once a day or twice a day to support your health and well-being. So here we go. We'll activate these two. And you just hold them up to your ears and just breathe in that frequency. And if you want, you can hold an intention at this time, but just relaxing, being with the sound. So you're hearing two different sounds, one in each ear, but you're actually ending up with the perfect fifth of a hertz within your auditory canal, which is also activating the vagus nerve. And you just hold the tuning forks here until they dissipate. I generally do it every morning when I'm waiting for my water to boil for my tea. So it's an easy add in. It's not an add on to find extra time in your day to do something like this. So whatever your piece of the puzzle is that works and brings that on, maybe it's the Tibetan bowls or the crystal bowls, or listening to some chimes, some soothing music. Immersion in music is absolutely so much science behind that, and its support of the body's state of health, growth, and restoration. There's so many aspects of working with energy work, whether it's sound work or healing touch work, specifically what I do, but I also bring in breath focus, which supports heart rate variability, and there's so many benefits to heart rate variability. And actually working with your vagus nerve and doing vagal toning and work that supports your vagus nerve, you're actually helping to improve your heart rate variability when you're adding in breath work and vagal toning aspects of that. So these things start layering on with each other. In addition to the breath focus that I do with people, I also do visualization, a little bit of guided meditation into the session. And we also then focus on intention as well. And as we do that, we activate all of our senses as if we were in the experience of our intention that is actually complete, and it is here now. And once we activate our five senses, the activation in the whole physiology begins to activate the ventral vagal system, which is your heart area, and then you're bringing different kinds of hormones in to your physiology. And that's what those warm fuzzies and beautiful feelings, if you dwell on a memory or a desire that brings deep gratitude, joy, or love into your body, you are being nourished. Your cells are being nourished with different hormones than if you're in stress and worry. And so I love opening up that world and offering a time for people. The sound sessions can be as little as 30 minutes and incredible benefits within that time. There are also aspects that you can do for yourself. I learned about from John Stuart Reid that with his work in the lab with the oxygenation of red blood cells, he did a number of different tests, and using extra low frequencies, those low frequencies are incredibly powerful. 20 minutes immersion, listening to that sound can increase the oxygenation of your red blood cells, the number of red blood cells, and it can actually regenerate red blood cells that are depleted. It can't bring dead red blood cells back to life, but it can actually oxygenate them. And so 20 minutes with gongs, drums, a harp, a didgeridoo, those extra low frequencies are powerful in their healing abilities to support your nervous system to do what it needs to do to help your body. But it brings you into that frequency and that state. And the other part too is just immersion in sound. Sounds have an incredible range of harmonics, and it's actually the harmonics and the variants of the harmonics that bring soothing into the nervous system and the physiology. I think with just understanding that oh my gosh, I love drumming, or someone loves listening, to a gong. Well, when we start layering in and understanding what's actually happening in our physiology, knowing that that's really good, that we can nourish ourselves with that, it's incredible. I've got a really deep Tibetan bowl that I will, for my own self-care, I will go on my treatment table and I will place the bowl on my belly and up on my chest and move it for about 20 or 30 minutes and just activate it and allow the vibrations to actually go into my body, as well as listening to the immersion of all those low frequencies that are just, I'm immersed in them. Okay, in this little demonstration, I just have water in my bowl, and it just shows you the effects of the vibrations. So it's like a cimoscope. You can actually see the frequencies vibrating in the water. Watching the vibrations. And so you think of immersing yourself in vibrations and frequencies, what's happening in our cells and in our body. We are living in sound, we're living in vibration. And wherever we are in our lives, we're being impacted by the vibrations and the sounds around us. So I think that's a beautiful part of Gabriola, and especially this forest area. It's just being in this beautiful, nourishing, peaceful quiet, without the extra noise of traffic, or sometimes we do get the overhead airplanes, things like that. But, that's the world. The world's busy out there. And when we can connect and become familiar with what calm feels like, that can support us on our journey. And the other thing I'll say about that place of calm and that going within to that quiet place, people with trauma response or trauma history have sometimes a difficulty settling into those places of quiet. So it's really important to find support in that area if you're having trouble settling into that, and find a professional that can guide you in there. But know that you can titrate yourself into those, like not just jumping all in a big immersion, but just little parts of that puzzle, titrating yourself into little bits of peace and calm, and what does it feel like, and just being aware that there's a change in your physiology with those things. I think it's really important to drop in and be aware of what's going on in our physiology. And I think in our busy lifestyles, we don't often stop and drop in to the quiet place. And that's another beautiful thing that sound can do.